Hi, it's the Chief Bonding with board games and RPGs and books that have to do with RPGs, especially solo RPGs. Geek Gamers wrote a book very much in line, totally in line with her show. If you haven't seen her show, go check out Geek Gamers on YouTube. She has long-form videos that will cover many of the same topics that are in the book. But this is a beautifully produced book by Mōdiphiüs, and it is a perfect resource to allow you to improve or begin your solo RPG experience. I'm going to go through, we'll put the camera over top. Some of the pages are very shiny. We'll see how that shows up on camera. I'm going to go through and just hit a couple of the key parts that I love in here, and then we'll come back and I'll give you some more of my thoughts, but needless to say, I think you might enjoy. Yes. Now, Geek Gamers, of course, is a huge YouTube channel, a lot of solo play. Ambush is in there. So you've got board games, you've got RPGs, you've got how to take a book and randomly roll and get a page, and then Geek Gamers will break out how you drop into a role-playing scenario, and a lot of that is in here as well. So first of all, hardback book, very nicely produced. I've got some page notes that we'll be going through, and the quality. So just talking about quality, very nice. Pages, slick, clean, very well put together. Not sure my lighting's going to show that as well here. Let me get my hand out of the way. But just top quality, feels good when you're reading it. So you can see a little bit of the art. Now, I'm not going to go page by page, but you can see some of the art there, and then I will clear these out as we go. You can see you've got your campaign level, the big picture, your session level, rules and how to use them. So it's diving in. I'm going to touch a little bit on that. A real nice spot in there that I enjoy. And then your third section, tools of the trade, oracles, dice, and random tables, and then tons and tons of appendices. And then a very nice addendum all on dungeons that I'll come back to right at the end. So let me just flip ahead to some of my little sections here. So how to start with no rule set. I like to call it the cold start. No rules, no character sheet, and her emphasis, Geek Gamer's emphasis, is on place over people. Set the tone, set the mood, and it will help you set your people into place. Again, phenomenal chapter. So chapter 7, let's talk D&D. Now, I haven't played D&D since, I was at camp, and I think I was 12. And it was a great experience, but I never leaned toward fantasy. So apocalyptic was more my thing. Twilight 2000, first edition was awesome. But this was a very informative and entertaining section for me. And it was really nice because there's a section where Geek Gamers breaks down the different editions, which I'm completely lost with. What's the difference between 3 and 5, and what is this, what is that? I had no idea, so it was perfect. So the very first appendix is 10 mindsets of the solo GM. And right off the bat, everything is playing. Love it. You've got me right there. Everything is playing. Creating your character. Play. Whether or not you ever put that character in space and time, still play. Actually, going through the map and imagining, boy, look at this cavern over here. I wonder what is going on over there. It could be this, and then you never play on the map. Now, I like to get in there and actually then flesh those things out, but that's still play, even if you spend 2 hours just imagining the world that's on the map. Number 6, play emotions, not mechanics. I'm a very emotional player, so I'm leaning toward yes here, but I love the feel that role-playing gives, or even what a board game gives. One of my favorite board games, solitaire board game, is B-17 Queen of the Skies. Happens to be the first board game I ever bought, and I got lucky because it's not the mechanics of that game. A lot of people say it's just spreadsheets, but it is the feeling that you are the plane, you are the crew, and you feel for those folks in that board game. Same here. And then I'll touch on 9. Specific items can generate abstract ideas. Via Geek Gamers, one thing that really helped out my role-playing was when I'd watched her channel, and she talked about the power and use of a token, of a symbol that a character either starts with or receives or has in their kit when you get them, and maybe the gifting of something just allows story to explore. And in my Twilight 2000 game, what that ended up being was one character giving what was a NPC, which was highly enjoyable to the viewers, a challenge coin, a military/police challenge coin, and it became a token or talisman of connection between these two characters. And a beautiful thing about a challenge coin is that they often have symbols and words on them. And in this case, I had a lot of viewers saying, please, when you do the second season, start with the orphans and something with them. And I believed it was because partially of that coin. The coin lists character attributes to rise to, courage, honor. I can't remember all of them, but that token idea came from Geek Gamers. The addenda on dungeons was just pleasant and enjoyable. So you can see a place underground or dungeon theory for all. Again, my roleplay gaming is usually not in dungeons. But because I'm simply not the fantasy side of it. But this whole addenda was fabulous. And there are footnotes that are just exploratory. So I caught myself coming in and reading these footnotes and saying, wow, I need to go find that full article where Gary Gygax is interviewed and dive a little deeper into that. So this concept, let me flip all the way to my last little area here. This concept that you have to descend into darkness or into hell even, and that if you can come back out of that, you're a changed person. The idea that crossing the threshold into the dungeon and that there are current evils in that dungeon, in the depths that need to be vanquished and conquered, and that you're going to be playing the hero as you delve down into the dungeon, and the claustrophobia involved, the idea that there's an unknown, the idea that you enter and it'll be over if you can exit. A great addition to this book was that addenda. Let me pop out and I'll give you some more thoughts. All right, we're back. So again, you've seen some of the contents inside. If you are at all interested in solo role-playing, I think this is a must-buy. The concepts of how you get going. I love what I call the cold start. I like to do the cold start on mine because my games, because the idea that I don't know where things are going to go and that the mind just starts to trigger, and all the little tips that help you in this book get that trigger going and keep the narrative flow moving. The idea that it's story over mechanics. Yes. Now, I know there's people that just love the mechanics, and that's totally fine. I've always been a story person, as I mentioned, with even B-17 Queen of the Skies. The stories invoked there were just magical. So, again, the assist that you'll get through setting up games and how to keep yourself moving, the building of your own oracle charts to manage kind of the flow and landscape of a game that you just pop yourself into is phenomenal. I'm doing this whole shamanic clinician thing, and one of the most difficult parts was what setting of the dream am I dropping into? Dreams can be weird, and I'm using a big part of this while still being randomized Geek Gamer by the dice. They're not completely random because I'm going to be able to set, am I dropping into some kind of fractal dream? Is it some kind of surreal thing? Is it a ultra reality dream that I'm dropping into? So some of those things can allow my game to still have a bit of randomization in it, but also have the guidance. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I pre-ordered this, but I know drive-through review, I'm not sure if the printed version's there, but I do believe that's where the PDF version is. But if you're like me, I love holding books. I'm an avid reader thanks to my 6th grade elementary school teacher, Mr. Reibold, and I love having the physical copy in my hands, and this is a beautiful one to look at. The layout's wonderful, the chapter breaks are phenomenal, and the quality of the hardback is very, very pleasing. So I prefer in-person corporal books over PDFs, but you can always go to Mōdiphiüs. I'm sure they have it there as well. So hopefully you're intrigued by this. I will tell you my tip on solo gaming that makes it so much fun is that using the tips from Geek Gamers in here, your story unfolds in front of you. And so it is this peeling back of story and theme and making sense of what's going on and just kind of being surprised sometimes post-session of, wow, I can't believe that happened. And that is super entertaining. It's the Chief, bonding with board games and RPGs. See ya. Bye.